Telling me you hate rose fragrances is like telling me you hate music. What do you mean you hate music? That is such a broad category. There's all types of music: high energy music, moody music, calming music, sensual and seductive music, just like rose fragrances. So you probably don't hate rose, you just haven't found your rose yet. Lucky for you, I'm a rose connoisseur and I'm here to help you find your perfect rose. I have an abundance of options from conventional to unconventional, so you're leaving here with something.
I'm leaving here with something.
If you know me or have been following me for some time, you already know what I'm going to start off with. Dark Rose by Octavia Morgan. Not only is this my favorite rose fragrance of all time, but it's my favorite perfume of all time, period. This is my signature scent. It's very dark, deep, and sensual, but it's still wearable enough that I can wear it on a daily basis no matter what I'm wearing or where I'm going. This is a very modern and complex rose. It has very warm and resinous vanilla. You've got this rich, sweet, velvety plum, and you also have a little bit of peppercorn and labdanum that don't really add any spiciness, but it just adds this really nice, sensual warmth. If you're looking for something beast mode, this is definitely that. I'm talking over 8 hours on skin, days on your clothes and in your hair. Like, she is not going anywhere. This is definitely my most complimented fragrance in my collection and also my most repurchased. I have been through about 6 bottles of this stuff, so I'm just in love. Next, we have the very first rose fragrance that I ever fell in love with. This is Rose Jam by Lush. This is the body spray version, but they also have the eau de parfum version that I own as well. I have been through so many bottles of the body spray and body wash throughout the years. As the name suggests, this is an incredibly jammy rose. This smells like eating a lemon thumbprint cookie that has a little bit of a lemon sugar glaze on it that also has a dollop of rose marmalade in the middle. Oh my gosh, it's so delicious. The lemon note in this definitely adds that fresh, fizzy burst of life without necessarily making this into a citrus fragrance. This is also another beast mode rose. Even just the body spray will last all day on your skin and you can smell it all over your clothes for days. Like, it's strong. Now, if you're looking for something that's not as bright, something that's a little bit darker and deeper, I think that you would really like L'Homme dans l'Eau from Diptyque. I like to call this a moody and melancholic rose. This is a very vegetal and green rose, very stemmy, like fresh cut stems of a rose, but then it's also very sappy and resinous at the same time. I own both the eau de toilette and eau de parfum of this fragrance. They're honestly extremely similar. The EDP is a little bit richer, but honestly both of them are still very deep and full-bodied. So besides just the rose, you also get a lot of blackcurrant in this, not just the blackcurrant berries, but also the blackcurrant leaves. And that blackcurrant isn't too tart at all, it's just very rich. And also something watery in here, which I guess is pretty true to the name because the name literally means shadow in the water. This smells like crushing up rose petals in a mortar with the blackcurrant berries and leaves that just releases all of those oils and juices. It's also like what rose bushes would smell like after it rains. It's very beautiful. Next up, we have Petite Cherie by Goutal. Did y'all know this was one of Whitney Houston's favorite fragrances? Like, I did not know that until someone commented it on a video that I posted and I went and looked it up and it was true. Like, what the heck? I call this a pretty princess fragrance. It is a very light and effervescent and girly rose. This also has the most photorealistic, mouth-watering, juicy pear note. You get a really juicy and fresh pear peach combo. There's also a grass note, but it doesn't smell too stringently green. It smells like the morning dew on grass. It definitely has a very soapy, shampoo-y vibe to it. I do wish it had better longevity for the price, but it's still extremely beautiful. Next up, we have Little Flower, which is a collaboration between Régime de Fleurs and Chloë Sevigny. This has been on my full bottle wish list forever. From the moment that I smelled this years ago, I just knew that it would be my wedding fragrance. I mean, I don't know exactly when I'm getting married yet, but when I do get married, this is going to be a top contender. This is just Blushing Bride in a bottle. This is not going to be a rose fragrance that's particularly groundbreaking, but it does what it does extremely well. This is a very bright citrusy rose. It has slightly tart pomelo and blackcurrant without them being too tangy or sharp. This also does have black tea and Palo Santo. They don't add too much earthiness or herbaceousness, but it does add that nice comforting warmth on the dry down. It has very intimate projection, so it's something that would make a good kind of daily signature scent. Next up, we have Rose Era, which is a collaboration between Snif and Monet McMichael. I own like 3 bottles of this fragrance because I loved it so much when I first got it and I didn't know if it was strictly going to be limited edition, so I just never want to be without it. This is a very soapy, fresh out of the shower type of rose. I don't typically wear fragrance to bed, but this is one of the ones that I feel like is just really nice and soft and comforting to put on at night after a shower. This dries down into a very clean, slightly woody skin musk. It also sits pretty close to the skin, so this is another good option for the daytime, like to wear to the office or out and about. If you're wanting something that's a little bit more unconventional, something that's kind of industrial and edgy, I think that you would really love Asphalt Rainbow by Charenton Macerations. This fragrance is supposed to be a love letter to the urban landscape and modern street art. Smelling this fragrance will make you understand why people get addicted to huffing spray paint. This smells like taking a fresh bouquet of red roses and covering them in silver spray paint. Like, it is the coolest thing ever. This is like a safe way to satisfy your cravings for the smell of compressed air, aerosols, and spray paint. Besides just the rose and spray paint notes, you also have magnolia, lychee, leather, asphalt, and wood, to name a few. The leather note smells a lot like the rubber on brand new tires. I've described this before as smelling like an auto shop on Valentine's Day. Besides those notes that seem to be more challenging, it's honestly incredibly wearable. It dries down into this really pretty soapy rose like a bar of super fancy rose soap at an expensive hotel. So that one's also on my full bottle wish list. Another more unconventional option is Annabel's Birthday Cake by Marissa Zappas. I am just obsessed with atmospheric fragrances right now, and this is another one that's on my full bottle wish list. This is meant to smell like the entire experience of a garden birthday party. It has notes of candied rose petals, cake, tuberose frosting, lemon sugar, and latex balloons. The lemon sugar and candied rose petals combo reminds me a lot of rose jam, so I think if you like rose jam but want to try something a little bit more unconventional, you would also like this one. Marissa does powdery notes so well in her fragrances, and this one has the most gorgeous powdery heliotrope that almost smells like the fondant on a cake. As it wears is when I start to get more of that plastic latex smell, which is one of my guilty pleasure smells. It almost kind of smells like that doll head plastic vibe. There's also a whiff of waxiness, like melted candles, but also like waxy lipstick. Super cool and unique while still also being very wearable. Now we have a classic. This is Delina La Rosée by Parfums de Marly. There are 3 variations of Delina. This is my favorite out of the bunch. Delina La Rosée is not really trying to reinvent the wheel. It is just a very fresh and effortless rose. I would also say this is the most perfumey out of the recommendations that I'm giving because it's closest to what I think a lot of people would associate with a traditional rose fragrance. It has a dewy, soapy undertone that reminds me a lot of clean laundry. Besides rose, this also has peony, which I absolutely love in combination with rose because it adds this dewy wateriness to it, and there's also that juicy pear as well. If you thought the lychee note in the original Delina was a little bit too tart for you, I think you might like this version better because it's definitely still there, but it's not as screechy. We have another classic. This is Miss Dior. There are several flankers of this fragrance, but the original has to be my favorite. This is very mature and not in like the aldehydic Chanel No. 5 type of way, but just very classy and feminine and grown up without smelling too perfumey. This is very sweet and warm. So you have a rich rose, but it's also paired with vanilla, tonka, sandalwood, benzoin. It's very comforting and inviting. There's also just a teensy bit of powderiness from the iris, but it doesn't really lean into baby powder territory at all. There was a period of time where I would wear this pretty much every single day to work and I would always get compliments on it. Next up, we have an indie fragrance. This is In Dreams and Fairytales in the Strawberry Rosewater variation from the indie brand Source. In Dreams and Fairytale is a collection of fragrances that are all inspired by French meringue, which is this sugary whipped confection. They all have that same base, but with different flavor variations. Besides just the vanilla one, the Strawberry Rosewater variation has to be my favorite. It's very fun and girly, like a pinkity drinkity. I love that this smells like very real, fresh, pulpy strawberry. There's nothing synthetic about it at all. This is honestly not super rose forward. I get a lot more of that whipped sugar and strawberry before I ever smell the rose. So if you're someone that's a little bit apprehensive or averse when it comes to rose, I think this would be a great jumping off point, especially if you like gourmands. And last but not least, we have Angel's Soirée, which is a limited edition collaboration between Le Monde Gourmand and Caroline Stern. When I smelled this, it was so serious for me that I went and bought 3 more bottles once it restocked because it's limited edition and I don't ever want to be without this, okay? This is one of, if not the best affordable rose fragrance on the market right now. Looking at the notes, you might be like, ugh, not another rose and lychee perfume, like whoop-de-doo. But this is a more unique take on that profile because it's not just pure rose, it's rose milk. So when you take that rose milk and mix it with marshmallow, vanilla praline, meringue, it makes it very delicate and fluffy. And then you get that sweet fruitiness from the lychee, strawberry, and apricot. I like that the lychee in this is not too tart. This is very light and airy, and I don't find it to be sickeningly sweet or overly gourmand. The longevity is about what you would expect for something of this price point, but I like that it comes in this little 1-ounce bottle because I can easily throw it in my purse and take it with me and reapply throughout the day. So that is my very extensive rose fragrance roundup. Hopefully you found a couple of things in here that are new that you'd like to try out. If you enjoyed this video, I would love for you to give me a follow and comment and let me know if there are any other categories of notes that you would like recommendations for.